to Half the Battle. Let's talk about Subteams.
Over the years, both the G.I. Joe team and Cobra had smaller groups of characters that had their own team. Usually, but not always, the toy line would use older figures and vehicles and give them a new coat of paint so they could sell them again.
Because Hasbro loves saving money.
Today, we're gonna be ranking the top 7 best of those groups. And this even includes groups that were not recycled toys. And despite talking about recycling, no, the Eco Warriors are not on this list.
Obviously.
So here are the top 7 best G.I. Joe and Cobra sub-teams. Number 7. Special Missions Brazil. This was the first ever Toys R Us exclusive G.I. Joe set produced. Well, for the Real American Hero line anyway. It came with 5 figures and an audio tape. The Special Missions Brazil set was about 5 Joes who had a special mission. In Brazil.
Go figure!
Honestly, this set is a mixed bag, that's why it's only number 7. 2 of the figures are good, namely Leatherneck and Wetsuit. But Dialtone and Mainframe are less than great. It's the red that ruins it for me a bit. Still, it's a very nice set overall. And it did come with an original character, Claymore, though he was cobbled together from existing body parts. Number 6. Battle Force 2000. This sub-team has the distinction of now being comprised mostly of dead people, thanks to the comic.
I see dead people.
It's also unusual for having all original characters, as well as all new toy sculpts for both the figures and the vehicles. They all have a unique look, and like with Missions Brazil, while some look great, others look pretty bad. Still, they tried to do something unique here by giving everything a futuristic look, and by having the vehicles combine.
Well, sort of.
Yeah, you kinda just smushed them together. Still, they made the list partly because it was innovative of Hasbro. Number 5. Slaughter's Renegades. Now here's a unique set of people, introduced and pretty much only featured in G.I. Joe the movie.
But let's not hold that against them.
These guys, Taurus, Red Dog and Mercer, were a rehabilitation project of Sergeant Slaughter. It's a pity they weren't really used after the movie, well, except for Mercer, as they could have become something sort of like anti-Dreadnocks, a group of rough a-holes, but on the side of good. Plus, it's another sub-team with unique sculpts and characters.
Always a good thing.
Number 4. Sky Patrol. Now here's an interesting mix of old recycled stuff sprinkled in with something new. The action figures all use bodies of previous figures, but with new head sculpts and helmets. The vehicles are all older ones, but with that shiny VEC metallized silver coating. And with some of the figures, it's hard to tell the bodies were even repaints, which counts as a huge plus for me. What's also a plus?
Well, in theory anyway.
Is that all figures came with a working parachute.
And I say in theory
because they have the drawback that they're practically impossible to fold back up into their containers after use. Still, original characters, mostly cool outfits, and actual nice gimmicks means the Sky Patrol deserves the number 4 spot on the list.
And speaking of patrols...
Number 3. Python Patrol. What's that, I hear you say? Timmer puts the Python Patrol on here, even though it has one of his most hated figures on it, the Banana Crimson Guard.
Well, yes I did, because in this case, one bad apple doesn't spoil the punch.
And Python Patrol was a pretty neat concept. Though I will admit the vehicles are the real treat here. They look great in their Pythonized form. The figures are hit or miss, though I dig the Televiper and the Viper ones in particular. Hell, I don't even mind some of the more modern ones, gaudy as they may be. Number 2. The Dreadnocks.
Oh, how I hemmed and hawed, how I debated with myself over whether these guys were a sub-team or not.
You see, the problem is they really are their own faction, though they worked for Cobra almost all of the time. My problem is that there aren't enough other factions to do a best and worst list on them.
Yes, that means a worst sub-team list will be coming soon, don't worry.
Maybe somewhere down the line I'll do a list of other factions, just ranked from worst to best. I'll have to think about that. Anyway, in the end, I decided to include our favorite grape soda and chocolate-covered donut connoisseurs, since the Dreadnocks are so iconic in the franchise. I just could not leave out Zartan's evil motorcycle gang that's filled with interesting characters. Like an Oxford Don, yes really, and Brock Lesnar if he had a split personality. So they deserve to be on the list.
But because of the whole being a faction rather than a sub-team thing, they're only at number 2.
Oh, and to wrap this up, here's some foreign file card fun for you. In Belgium and Holland, they weren't called Dreadnocks, they were called Waaghalzen, which translates to daredevils.
The stuntman type, not the blind lawyer type.
And the number 1 best sub-team in G.I. Joe is... Night Force!
It had to be Night Force.
Even though it had no original characters, or original toy molds for that matter. None of that matters because the recolors on the figures were done so freaking well. It's hard to pick a favorite, they're all cool. It's a toss-up between Shockwave and Outback, really. That's not even getting into the vehicles, who all look great in black. Shame about the orange bits though. That's what keeps Night Force from being perfect. Still, it is leagues better than some of the other sub-teams. Ahem!
And that was the list. Did I leave any out? Let me know in the comments below. Well, I'll see you next time, everybody. And hey, why not like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing.